Welcome back to my channel Learn with Virali. I'm Virali, your guide on this PMP adventure. If you are new to my channel, I'm Virali, a certified PMP professional that is helping people to pass their PMP exam on the very first try. So if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure you subscribe as it helps me to create more such kind of videos and offer help to the community. Today's video might be the most important one that you will watch before your PMP exam. We are going to exactly break down what should you do in your last week of preparation. That is a strategy that has helped hundreds of people succeed and pass their exam on the very first try. So let's get started. Okay, so let us start with the day 7 daily study plan. So the first thing in the morning that you will do is to take a full 4-hour mock exam. Please understand that this isn't just about testing yourself, it's actually about identifying what are still the weaker areas that you need to practice more on. Also make sure when you review your answers in respect to correct or incorrect, please don't mark those incorrect answers as incorrect without understanding why did you choose that incorrect answer in regards to the correct one. So make sure you understand which is the right answer, why is it the right answer, and make sure you create a detailed list of topics that needs a little more extra practice, or you need to revisit it again based on your understanding. This list can be in the form of an Excel or even your notebook would work, as you know that if these questions would show up again, you won't make the same mistake. Coming to day 6, as in the daily study plan, today is all about mastering those process groups, that is, focusing on the ITTOs, inputs, tools, techniques, and outputs. But here is the key: understand those process groups, like how they flow together, rather than just memorizing it, as you may forget few in the middle and that might create a chaos later on. So pick the weakest process group that you are facing issues on, and then practice or drill down 50 more practice questions focused on those process groups. So by the end of the day, that is day 6, you should be comfortable with all the major formulas that are related with these process groups. So day 5, we are dedicating this day entirely to practice Agile questions, as in the Agile domain. Start with the Agile Manifesto. Make sure you just don't read through it. You understand how things are associated with each other, how you perform those daily Scrum meetings, and so on, to better focus on projects dealing with Agile methodologies. If required, go through those 200 questions from David McKellen. I'll be linking his video in the description below, so do check it out. But please understand that the hybrid questions are often the trickiest, so spend extra time in practicing those hybrid questions. Now, coming to practicing another set of 50 questions in regards to just the Agile domain, focusing on mindset and applying the principles that are required to be applied acting as a project manager. So if you need more resources, do let me know in the comments. I'll be linking those more resources as in the practice questions along with the answers for your use. Let's now come to day number 4. So today's focus, as in day 4's focus, is going to be onto the situational questions, as in the scenario based questions. These are often most challenging ones because they actually test your judgmental skills. As in, if you are a project manager, what is the first action that you will be taking on, and so on. So practice stakeholder scenarios extensively. Remember, over 80% of the exam is from the situational set of questions. Work on your time management skills, and you should be spending not more than 90 seconds per question. This is very important because you are supposed to solve 180 questions in the exam. If you spend more time on few questions at the beginning, you will have less time remaining at the end to finish up with those last set of 60 questions. Coming on to day number 3. So this is the time for your final mock exam. But here is what's different. Analyze the pattern in your wrong answers. Understanding, are you consistently missing questions about specific set of topics? If yes, then use this information to navigate back to the list that you had created on day number 7. Add those topics to the list and keep revisiting them as and how you have time. Use this information to kind of go through or practice more questions on from those particular set of topics. And at the end, don't forget to have a quick fire through your formulas one last time. Okay, coming on to day number 2. This is gonna be your light review day. So no heavy studying is recommended, but again, it depends from person to person and their studying style. So this is just my understanding on how to approach a 7-day plan before your PMP exam. But please adjust it according to your learning style and your understanding. So according to me, I won't do any heavy studying whenever I approach day 2 or 2 days remaining for the final exam. So go through the summary notes, do a maximum practice of maybe 30 questions, and if you are taking the exam at the exam center, make sure you have your exam day materials ready with your IDs and other stuffs that you would need. Check whether whatever you are allowed to take to the exam center, let's say if you are allowed with a water bottle or not, a calculator or not, and so on. Okay, coming to day number 1. This is the crucial day. I identified this day as more or less the rest day, not the other kind of the rest, but the kind of the rest that my brain needs in order to get everything in place. So I consider this as a rest day. So what I would do on this day is I will have a brief review of the key concepts, but I won't add any new material which will create a little bit of panic later on. So I'll revisit whatever I had gone through before, as in different summary notes that I have created or the list of questions that I had created which I had gone wrong on those questions. So that is what I would do on this day. Also, I would make sure that I go to bed early, as in I have enough sleep, which will make or help me to get a fresh next day, which is going to be my exam day. So I need to have enough or maybe 8 hours of sleep maximum, making sure that I am pretty much fresh on the next day. Okay, so now let's talk about how to approach the questions effectively. The first strategy is the question strategy. The key to success is actually identifying keywords in the questions. Look for the action words like best, first, or most, as these are the most repetitive kind of questions that regularly show up in the exam. Make sure you use the elimination technique, often finding like what's wrong is more easier than reaching to the right answer right away. The next high focus area would be to consider the high impact topics, as in understand which are the topics that needs to be practiced or understood more as they would appear more in the exam. The first one comes is to understand the stakeholder engagement. This appears in almost every section. Then comes the risk management, especially qualitative versus quantitative analysis is often judged in different kinds of scenario based questions or situational questions that you will see on the exam. The third one is from the change management perspective. A major focus area comes in while the agile mindset is being practiced. And then the last one would be a combination of agile and traditional methodologies, as in the project management methods, understanding that these are the questions focusing on hybrid approaches towards the project management. Okay, so now let us go through some common mistakes or common pitfalls that you need to avoid while getting ready for your final exam. Make sure you don't rush through different questions. Make sure you read the question at least twice to avoid certain kind of misunderstandings or you skip certain keywords in it. That's when you read the question at least twice. Your first instinct is often right, so please trust your first instinct. Make sure you use the elimination method consistently by watching the time, as time management is the most important aspect for this particular exam. Mark the questions for review in case if you are spending longer than 90 seconds. Make sure you mark it for review and come back to it later on once you come towards the end of each section. Okay, so your mental state is going to be as important as your knowledge. So let us talk about the physical preparation, mental strategies, and your exam day preparation. So in physical preparation, stick to your normal sleep schedule, as this is going to be making sure that you wake up fresh next day with all the concentration and focus that you would need. Make sure you exercise a little bit, which helps actually to reduce the stress. Eat healthy, familiar food rather than eating something from outside, as it might cause certain changes in the body and might make you sick later on. So, no experimenting this particular week. Make sure you eat home cooked food, as it's going to help you the most. And make sure you sleep properly throughout this week, exercising it a little more. The next topic comes in is the mental strategies that you would need to develop seeing yourself succeed. So first things is to visualize yourself succeeding. Make sure you don't forget to take deep breaths whenever you feel overwhelmed. Review your memory techniques. If you are using certain mnemonics to memorize certain terms, make sure to revisit them again during this last week of preparation. And finally, the last day, as in the exam day preparation, comes in. Double check each and every detail that you have. Let's say if you are taking the exam at the exam center, make sure you check the exam location, have all the required documents, and then always make sure that you arrive at least 30 minutes early, making sure that you don't panic for the upcoming exam, which is going to be a little longer than 3 hours. So you understand that's more important. So make sure you arrive 30 minutes early on the day of the exam if you are taking exam at the exam center. But if you are taking exam at home, you would need to download OnView software that comes in from Pearson VUE. That is, I'll be attaching the instructions in the description below, so do check that out in case if you are taking exam at home. So now for taking exam at home, you would need to download that OnView software. It is going to check your Wi-Fi connection, your camera as in the webcam, and your microphone. If they are working correct, it will just display a message saying that you are ready to proceed with the exam. Later on, a proctor is going to be assigned to you while you finish scanning your room in a 360-degree rotation. Nothing should be there on your desk, no sticky notes, no extra monitors. Everything has to be detached and it should only contain your laptop. That's it, on which you will be taking the exam. If you are taking exam at home, even you are not allowed to use a physical calculator, you would need to use the calculator that is given onto your exam screen. So make sure you understand all these requirements despite taking exam at home or exam at the test center. And then all the very best for your exam.